You're listening to the My Simplified Life podcast, and this is episode number 294. Welcome to the My Simplified Life podcast, a place where you will learn that your past and even your present don't define your future. Regardless of what stage of life you're in, I want you to feel inspired and encouraged to pursue your dreams, simplify your life, and start taking action. I'm your host, Michelle Glogovac, author of How to Get On Podcasts, the podcast matchmaker, and CEO and founder of the MLG Collective. I'm excited to share the stories and life lessons of changemakers and authors with you while taking you on my own journey. This is My Simplified Life. Hello, Steph.
Hi, how are you?
I'm much better now that I get to see your face. You're the highlight of my week.
Oh, thank you. Sorry, I've been sick this week, so my voice is all,
It's deep and sexy.
Yeah, I've been singing Smelly Cat to the kids, and they have no idea what I'm talking about.
See, my kids would know. When we go on vacation, they find whatever channel does the Friends marathon, and they will watch them all, and then we go, oh, that was not appropriate.
I love that. Dwayne and I, when we first got married, we didn't have cable, and I bought these bootlegged, before they released the whole DVD series, or before it was on streaming. I think you could buy the whole DVD box set for Friends, but it was a bunch of money. So I got this bootlegged version off from China. I didn't realize it was. I just oh, it's cheap. And then it showed up, and there's all these subtitles and stuff. And I was like, I think this may be bootlegged. But we would watch it. We'd start in our apartment. I'd have it on all day, while I was cleaning or doing things. And we'd just start from episode 1 and work our way to the very finale. And then we'd start all over again. And it'd just be background noise, but we got so good at it. Everything became memorized. But it's been so long since I've really watched the show that I probably can't quote it verbatim like I used to.
That's hilarious. Yeah. It doesn't die.
It doesn't. It's phenomenal. But it is awkward when I think it's, it will have its renaissance, and younger generations are finding it. But when you quote something from Friends, which, our generation always understands, and younger people are what? What are you talking about? And
I used to do a great Janice. Oh my God, Chandler Bing. And this is going to be horrible. People are going to be listening. They're going to be like, oh my God, no. Yeah.
I think that was a good impersonation.
Thank you. It's a hidden talent that I don't share with many.
It's a good one. That show is so special. It brought so many people joy, and I loved it.
Reading lately, there's still articles that come out interviewing the cast or secrets. And one of them was when Rachel has her baby, Monica had actually just miscarried. And so the tears that are real, they're real tears. They're because she was feeling it, which is so sad. And it's not, I don't want to be that's so cool that you get to hear this, but right. It's the true fact of what was going on behind the scenes. Yeah. And I love that they were such good friends over the years for so long.
Mm-hmm. I think they still are best friends. I mean, not that I know personally, but from what you can see,
yeah,
it seems they're still really close, which is sweet. I love that beautiful friendship. Oh man, it is a special show, and it always will be. I don't know that there's ever been a show made like Friends. It is singular in kind of the impact and humor and heart that it had. It was, amazing. I loved it.
I love it. We have to answer the question that you left us off with last week.
Oh, okay.
Because I've been thinking about it. Yeah, the dinner party. Okay. I've been thinking hardcore about it, and I don't know that I have a proper answer.
Okay.
But one of the things that keeps coming up in my mind is that I want to meet and find a woman who is extremely successful today, but who didn't start out with money. Yes. Don't talk to me about some Rachel Hollis bullshit where somebody has money or they pretend they don't have money when we all know you have money and you're skyrocketing. Well, no, you're not really, because you had a cushion to fall back on. I want a dinner party with somebody like that.
Yeah, like Oprah. That was Oprah. She came from nothing and she built everything. And she's the one that she told this story at that, I went to that Threads event, which how I got on that invite list, I will never know. I'm so eternally grateful. And the Threads was hosting the event for Oprah's book club. It was before she started this collab with Starbucks and the podcast she's doing. And it was for Elizabeth Strout's new book. That was the Oprah book club pick at the time. And Oprah talked about just listening to her, just sitting there and listening to her felt like I could just sit and listen to her talk about life forever. Like everything she said was so beautiful and so wise and just incredible. But just talking about how she, grew up in segregated South, I think in Mississippi, and about her grandma. She was raised by her grandma, and I can't remember if her grandma could read or not, but she basically gave Oprah the Bible and was like, "You need to read." And Oprah taught herself to read, so she goes to kindergarten, and she basically goes up to the kindergarten teacher and is like, "I know a lot of big words," and then she was like, Leviticus, Exodus, Deuteronomy, Shadrach, like all these like biblical names. And she could spell them and write them all out. And I think like she's just, she was tenacious from the beginning, but she came from nothing and she knew like, I want to live a different life. And then I just have so much respect for her as a woman, especially as a Black woman, something I will never know what that feels like. To have that, that weight on you of like when she grew up and she knew her worth, she owned it, and she just took over the space, and seeing her succeed, like it just, I'm so in awe of her. And it's such a reminder that like, you can become anything, especially, there are a lot of issues in our country and there is a lot of obviously racial bias and things that affect people. So I'm not trying to say that that's not there, but just watching her story, I mean, that had to take so much tenacity and grit. And I just have so much incredible respect for her. I mean, she did it. And now she's Oprah. I mean, like,
And we want her at our dinner party.
Yes, we do. We want her at our
podcast, dinner party, all of the above. Oprah, come on.
Yes, she was so kind and down to earth, and I just am in awe of her. She's just the most amazing person. So, yes, that's a great answer of someone you'd want at your dinner party. I don't know that I think that deeply about it. Like I'm like, they seem funny. I'd love to have them there.
Oh, see, and I've ever since you ended that one, I'm like, okay, I got to think about this hardcore. I think I also would like the Dalai Lama and probably Desmond Tutu.
Okay,
and
you
here's
were having like a good dinner party. Like this is like,
yes, this is not just like let's have cocktails and dance on the table type. No, I want like we're gonna learn something, and I want to be a sponge. Because right now, also, I am like pent up like none other. It is like I feel it ever since I had my pulmonary embolism. If I'm stressed, I feel it in my back.
Yeah.
So I feel the with all that's going on. And then I also look for signs. And I've thought so much about what we're going to talk about today.
I love that.
And I'm reading Jesse Rosen's All the Signs.
Nice.
It's got some astrology in it and stuff, but I believe like pay attention to the signs. And lately the sign has been bringing up Buddhism. Shannon Watts is a Buddhist. Moms Demand Action. I've gotten to meet her. She talks about it. White Lotus that I've been watching keeps talking about Buddhism. And so I told Ted, I go, maybe we should look at Buddhism. Maybe this is like, they got something and he goes, well, you probably need to look at the meditative part of Buddhism. I don't know that you're going to convert, but maybe you want to look at that. And I went, okay, yes, maybe I need some beginner books. And so I did check out an audiobook on the meditative parts. It's only 3 hours long, but I'm listening to it at 2 times speed, which I don't think you're supposed to do.
No, Michelle, I'm not sure that's how meditative audiobooks are supposed to be listened to.
Breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out.
2 times is very fast, even for me. I mean, I know there are some audiobook listeners who just sit at that. I'm more at like 1.6, 1.7 is my happy zone. Everyone has a happy zone. I think some need to be savored, and that might be one. I don't know. I haven't read it, but it feels like
Yeah. So that's where I'm at. And I think that
okay.
it would be beneficial to,
Mm-hmm.
have them at
Yeah,
a dinner party to be like,
I
you
love
need to
that.
chill.
One of the things I love about us as a duo is you bring so much depth and like real like meat to the table, and like you're like go 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 and you're just like changing the world, and I am more the like let's dance on this table, so it's a good balance, right? Like
But
you
you can do both.
I mean, yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to insult my intelligence or anything like that, but I will say you are just such an avid learner, and I love that. Where I'm more like I just want to hear this story, and but
but you
I
learn
do.
by listening to the story.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. And I will gobble, as we've discussed previously. I will gobble anything up. So, I love a memoir. I love learning from people's lives and like their journeys, and but I love that. That is such a great answer. I mean, my answer is probably going to be like John Krasinski and Emily. What's his wife's name? Emily Blunt.
Emily Blunt, yeah.
Yeah, Emily. I would invite
See,
Felicity Blunt as well, her sister,
well, then
because
you need
she.
Stanley Tucci. Ooh,
Yes,
give me Stanley Tucci.
he can cook because I am not
Yes.
cooking for Stanley Tucci.
Yes. But now, see, if we've got Stanley Tucci cooking for us and this is all
Mhm,
fun and we're getting,
mhm.
I could make it a very awkward one and say that I want Michael Bublé there to sing to us, but
Right.
he used to date Emily Blunt. So that could be weird for
Oh, I
them.
forgot about that. Okay, so
But
Buble may
I
have
mean,
to
maybe
not
you could
come.
all be friends. You're all married with children. You've moved on.
Yes, I would want
So
Jonathan Bailey there, Cynthia Erivo. Cynthia Erivo could sing, but I don't want her at the table just to sing. Like I want to sit and just like talk to her. She sounds so incredible. But then if she chose to give us a song,
then
I
that
would
would
be
be fine.
honored.
Yeah.
I would sob, but I don't know. I mean, my list is so ridiculous. If I could pick for years, the number one celebrity I wanted to meet was, I think, did I say this last week? Last year. Oh
Oh,
my gosh. Angela Lansbury. Did
no,
I
you
say that?
didn't. No,
Oh yeah. She was my
no.
number one. Now I can't reach her anymore. She is gone from this earth. Um, but I would have loved to have Angela Lansbury there, and Agatha Christie would have been cool to meet. I would have loved to sit down and talk to her about her journey in writing, but those are two. But so they're gone now. So I don't know. I don't know. I didn't think about it too much. Usually I'll just be like, "Ooh, they seem fun. Come to my dinner party." I don't even know how to throw a dinner party, Michelle. So this is all very fictional. But
Okay.
Stanley probably does.
Stanley does. And then I've watched 2 episodes of With Love, Megan.
Oh, how's that going?
I'm on the fence because I'm
Yeah,
honestly I'm not a huge Megan fan, not.
yeah, yeah,
And I sat through 2 episodes and I was kind of like,
yeah,
I'm bummed that it's not filmed at her house.
yeah. That is a
I'm
bummer.
like, I'd like to see that. And then
Hmm.
this house that she's rented out, it's like, oh, well, now we're going to put the edible flowers. And I just happen to have those. And we're going to make candles. And I happen to have all those. I'm like, you don't happen to have all of these
No,
things. This is not real.
that was from the props department.
Yeah, that part, I'm like, this is so far fetched. But I will
Hmm.
tell you that after watching just 2 episodes, I found myself in the kitchen a little more la, 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 like
Oh,
kind of floaty. I felt it was floaty.
I will say what I like about her. I don't know her very well, and I can't, speak to her journey.
You don't know her very well.
I don't know her at all. Let me clarify. I don't know her at all. But I haven't, like, I never watched Suits.
Yeah, neither
I'm
did
not a
I.
big like royals obsessed person. Some people like really dig into the whole royal family thing. I mean, I don't. Um, but I will say, I she speaks in a very soothing, like everything's very soothing. Like I cannot imagine her raising her voice. And so I think like listening to her is very calming. So that could be good for your journey of like detoxing. It's just like, oh, I watch this to stress. Like
Yeah.
when I need to de-stress, I watch British murder mystery shows. There is something about people in the Lake District getting murdered that is calming to me. And I don't know why that is, but I know I'm not alone because they're very popular shows.
The way
um,
you just said that with such ease and
yes.
soothing and
Yes, it's very peaceful. Um, like Midsummer Murders. It's been on for like it's like the UK's Law and Order essentially, but like not lawyery. It's more just like police. Usually, like one of these teeny little towns is like 3 murders, and so you're like, why are there so many murders? But they're very soothing to me. I think there's something about like seeing the people, um, the flowers and the birds chirping, and it's like lovely, and like I don't know, going about their day. It's really like it's like therapeutic for me, and I just love a murder mystery, so I love it.
That's hilarious. Although I'm a little bit like that. Like I love Mayor of Kingstown, and that
Okay,
thing is just like a bloodbath, and you're in
okay.
prison, and
See, I'm not
and
a,
I'm like
I'm
I'm
not.
obsessed. And my husband's like,
Yeah,
"What? Why?
yeah,
Do we have to watch this again?" I'm like, "Yeah,
yeah.
we do."
I will say I don't love gritty or dark. Like I love like the gardens. I love like the pretty English gardens and the lovely idyllic
Then you need
landscape.
to watch White Lotus
I
because it's
do binge
so
watch.
pretty. The
Yes, I do.
cinematography is ridiculous. And it's not,
Yeah.
I'm not one of those people who's like, look at that angle. Oh, look at
Yeah.
this. And yet I
Yeah.
find myself going, oh,
Oh,
wow, that's
wait.
gorgeous.
Sorry, my computer did something. Where'd you go?
I can see you. Can you not see me?
No, where did it go?
I'm here. I can hear
What just
you.
happened?
It says you're still recording.
Okay. Oh, okay. Hang on. What's happening? You see me?
Yes, I see you. I hear you. You
Okay.
hear me?
Yeah, it kicked me out of
Wait.
the studio for some reason.
Okay,
There's
you're
a
in
two of me.
twice. Yep, hold on. Let me get rid of wait, can I get rid of you? How do I hide? Wait, can I do that one? Okay, there. You good?
Hang on. Yes, I think so.
Okay.
Oh, today has been a journey. There's been a lot happening
There's
this day.
are we is are the planets all doing their thing? Are
I
we
have
in
no
I think we're in
idea.
retrograde, so maybe this is like another
I have no idea.
this episode's going to be a hot
It is.
mess.
It's the Unfiltered episode.
Yes. Yes.
Well, I should watch like White Lotus. I have not done that. I need to, but
It's
that's
beautiful. It's beautiful and it's dark and
yeah.
it's weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Sammy
Okay.
Sage, that I've talked about before, Democracy in Retrograde,
Mhm.
American Fever podcast, Betches Media, she
Yeah.
is doing like a deep dive for every episode
Ooh,
every week
nice.
to the
Awesome.
point that I'm like, oh, I didn't think that hard about this.
Yeah.
But okay. She
Yeah.
even pulled apart the intro this week, like the
Ooh.
opening scene, because it's always beautiful and there's wallpaper.
Yeah.
And she dissected, like, maybe there's 3 of this because it represents these friends. And
Ooh.
oh, yeah. Yeah.
Nice. That's
Yeah.
interesting. That is great.
I love that
Love
we
that.
appear two very sweet, kind
I know.
women who love dark murder.
Yes, we do.
Give it to us. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny because I'm reading a book for a client book, The
Mhm.
Joy Reset by Mary Catherine MC McDonald.
Yeah.
And I adore her. And she warned me, she's like, it says joy, but it's dark. And I had read her first book.
Yeah.
And so this one, I'm like, oh, yeah, she used to work with gang members. I remember
Wow.
this. And last night I'm getting into it. And I'm like, oh, yeah, she's bringing in a gang member. This is great. What is she going to talk about? And there was this murder and this homicide and this. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I
Oh,
love this book.
that's so
I am
funny.
dark and weird.
That
Yes.
is so funny. I love that. Yeah, I don't read. I mean, I like if it's like a true story. I find it really fascinating. But like if like it's like a show or movie about like gang or mafia or like kind of more gritty, even like police procedurals. A lot of times, I just don't love that aspect of it. I don't know why. I don't know why I need to be in an idyllic garden to see people murdered. I'm not sure why to see the mystery solved, but that's just who I am.
I love it's that kind, sweet,
Uh,
innocent part of you. That's like, just put a daisy on the
Just
body and
put a
everything will be
daisy on it.
fine.
It's fine. It's great. Yes, exactly. But my favorite book is Frankenstein. I'm wearing my Frankenstein shirt today,
Ah, how about the
which
movie?
I've never seen the movie. I'm scared it'll ruin it. Have you read Frankenstein? Let's talk about
No,
this.
I've watched the movie.
Okay, you need to read the book. Audible has it's included, I think, with Audible memberships if you have an Audible membership.
I don't.
The
I
okay,
just check out my audiobooks from Libby.
okay, well, um, The audio, I always tend to recommend like Libra FM, um, or like, because they help. They're an audiobook company that with each purchase supports an independent bookstore. But
So
I
shout
will,
out to them. And in case you
yes,
would like to sponsor the show, we are
yes,
available.
we love
Yeah.
Libra FM, and so I tend to not recommend audiobooks from Audible. Not because I don't listen to them, at times I do, but because I do really want to support the independent bookstores. But I will say this, and this is my one like thing that I can't fully let go of, is Dan Stevens, who was Matthew Crawley in Downton Abbey. I don't know if you ever watched Downton Abbey.
Didn't.
He has the most beautiful speaking voice and singing voice. He played the Beast in the live action Beauty and the Beast. Anyway, he narrates Frankenstein. It's an Audible original, and it is phenomenal. It's phenomenal. And he does such a good job. When the first time I read that book, I remember just being floored because, it is listed as classic horror, right? And there are some scary elements, I guess, to it, not in comparison to what we're used to today. I think all of us are used to really like dark, creepy, scary stuff. So, but like, there is murder, but it is much more of a philosophical novel. It's nothing like what is painted in like the movies or like culture where you think of it's it honestly, I call it, like, if I was to just define this book in like a sentence, I would say it's like a feminist yell. It feels like a feminist scream, this book, because Mary Shelley, I don't know, do you know about the background of her
No.
writing it?
Nope. Tell me.
Okay. So I may get the facts a little wrong on this. So, please, whoever's listening, look it up yourself. But basically, Mary Shelley was married. She was the daughter of Mary Wollstonecraft, a very famous feminist. I don't believe she ever met her mom because I think her mom died either at birth or when she was like 2, very young. And her dad was more forward thinking as well. But basically, Percy Shelley, the poet, was married at the time. He was friends with her father, and he would come and visit. And Mary Shelley was like 16 or something, and they started this love affair. I think they like famously like consummated their relationship in a graveyard. But he was married to somebody else at that time, and then like they ran away together. But then her sister Claire also came with them, and there's rumors that there was like things between him and Claire as well. He cheated on Mary a lot. She spent years. I mean, she was young. His first wife died, and then he was able to marry Mary. And she became Mary Shelley. And anyway, she spent years just pregnant and losing babies and pregnant and losing babies. And he went off and did all of his things. And you know what, the thing I cannot remember is exactly where in her journey she wrote Frankenstein, but she was like 19. She was young. But her and Percy, and I think Byron, I need to look that up, were all in Geneva for the summer. And it was like this summer there had been some type of, I think, natural event that made it really like foggy and kind of like atmospheric. And so they decided to make a challenge of who could write the best like ghost story or like, scary story. So the three of them wrote, and she really struggled to come up with an idea. And then it came to her like in a dream one night, and she saw this like grotesque figure being brought back to life, and she wrote Frankenstein. But the whole point of the book is a look at first the hubris of man and ego, and like what happens when, and in this case specifically, men decide to take over and need to make their mark on the world and the damage that's caused. Now, I don't think she thought there was anything wrong with, making your mark on the world, but when you try to overtake and make everything about your name, and in this case, Dr. Frankenstein's like, I'm going to create life. I'm going to become God. I'm going to create life. And then the damage is left behind. And there's also a huge call to, the creator of whatever you create, like for parenting or whatever situation you make, you are responsible for the after effects. And it's just this powerhouse of a novel on, you can feel her hurt and anger at just being quieted and silenced and used the way he did. And it's so powerful. And when I read it, not thinking, it was like Halloween time, and I was like, oh, let's go read Frankenstein. And I read it, and I remember just like in awe of, it's a really powerful story. And yes, the monster does go off and like kill people, but he's angry and he is alone. I mean, and someone brought him into this, and then Dr. Frankenstein refused to accept the consequences of his behavior. And there's so many just really good lines in there. I got my tattoo that says, "Beware, for I am fearless and therefore powerful." And that's probably one of the most famous lines.
Badass. Oh, yeah.
Um,
I love that.
and then there's one part about Frankenstein the monster asks Dr. Frankenstein to make him a mate because he says, like, I'm alone, like no one will love me. And he starts off with this really tender, kind heart, but he's been rejected and hurt so much. And he is like a child. So his emotions are large, right? So he's like, no one likes me. I'm going to burn the world at the ground. I'm going to ruin everything, which isn't okay either. But he asks Dr. Frankenstein to make him a mate because he's like, then we will be both, ugly and hated together, but we'll be together. And Dr. Frankenstein waffles. It's this like really big moment for him. And he like starts and he's struggling and then he's realizing all these different things that could go wrong. And one of the things Dr. Frankenstein says, which I think is interesting, is, what if she wakes up and is resentful of the pact that was made for her before her creation? And I was like, as women, we come into the world and I mean, any group that is marginalized, and obviously is like white women, we have it the easiest, I think, in terms of marginalized groups. But as women, for so often, especially during Mary Shelley's time, she entered the world but didn't have much power, and even though her mom was this really famous feminist, that this pact that was made before we came into the world, and feeling like you want to revolt against it. Like, I don't want to live by these rules. I don't want to live this way. And she even mentions, I mean, and she wrote this book, I should know, 1800, I mean, a long time ago. And she even mentions grieving for the indigenous people of America when we came in and took over. Like, she was so on point and aware, and just really, you can see it's like her being upset at just what ego can do, what ego drives people to do, and the lack of awareness of others. Anyway, that is my big Frankenstein speech. It had to happen at least once while we did with these chats. So for
I love
everyone,
it.
please read Frankenstein. I would recommend the Dan Stevens version because he narrates it beautifully. But whatever version you want to, it's incredible. And she wrote it when she was 19. I mean, it's amazing. It's amazing. She's just is awesome. It's so good.
It's
So
interesting how she woke up from a dream and then wrote it, because I'm reading Big Magic. I read it a chapter every night, and the chapters are like 2 pages. So it'll take me the full year. But Elizabeth Gilbert also mentions waking up from a nap or a sleep at one point, some story poured out of her like none other.
Wow.
And it's unlike any story she's ever written before or will ever write. And it just sounds very reminiscent of like, pay attention to those dreams, people.
Yeah, that's really.
Although mine last night was like on a beach and there were some fish.
Mine was that Jim Parsons, Sheldon from, is it Jim Parsons? Sheldon from the Big Bang Theory was like this mass murderer. He's like a serial killer, and I was like chasing him down. It was the weirdest dream. So don't pay attention to all the dreams, because most of the time you take some Benadryl because you have a cold and things get weird. But
oh my god, I love it.
Yeah. It's so that's really cool. Anyway, that's my Frankenstein pitch.
I love this. I love that we have gone all over the place. This is so much fun.
I love that.
Yes. Yep. So if anybody has a question you want us to answer, and then hear us start to answer it and then veer off on a different topic, just let us know.
Yes, let us know. That is something I realized listening to the first episode, how I don't even always finish my words. I just get so excited and go to the next topic. And I'm like, okay, not everybody's in your brain, Stephanie. We slow the ADD roll a little bit and finish our full thoughts. So
I love it. I love that we show up and you're getting what just
Yeah.
comes out of our mouths. Like
out,
this
exactly.
is a normal conversation for Steph
This
and I.
is.
This is
This
how we
is.
are. So
Yeah,
I think it's fun.
it is fun. You know, I did want to ask you, do you have like a favorite author or like an auto-buy author, like books that, or a book that you would consider one of your favorites of all time?
I love Sophie Kinsella.
Oh,
And her
I love
last book broke
her.
my freaking heart. I don't know who's read it or who hasn't read it.
I haven't read it yet. My mom has. She said it was really good, and I'm gearing myself up for it.
I just puts a pit in my stomach.
Do we know, because she was diagnosed with brain cancer, for anybody who doesn't know, and then she wrote a book about, like a fictional book, but it's about a character with brain
there's
cancer.
a lot of her in it, and she shares at the end of like what was factual in it, and it will rip your heart apart. It just will.
What is her prognosis? Do we know about
She's
that?
living longer than she was supposed to.
Oh, thank the Lord for that. That's amazing. Okay.
But that, I mean, it scares me too, because I'm like, no, heartbreaking.
That is heartbreaking. Well, I love that. I didn't know that about you. You love Sophie Kinsella.
I do.
It's amazing.
Yes. That's just one of them. Yeah. There's so many. I feel like there's so many authors and books that I have yet to discover. And this next one, the one that just arrived. And I know we have to wrap up soon.
Yeah.
But
what did you get arrived?
Careless People.
Ooh, I've seen that. Yes.
You know that's going to be dirt. And so I'm ready for some dirt, but I just know it's going to make me angry too. So
okay, but so remember your breathing, and maybe let's like take the Buddhist audiobook down to like 1.5.
Yeah, it's only 3 hours. And
I know
this is my type A of like, if it's this, can I do it quicker? Yes. Can I exceed the expectations? So I see 3 hours and I go 1.5.
Right.
This is my problem.
Like maybe, that will help soothe you. We don't need another pulmonary embolism.
No,
okay, is what I'm saying.
No,
we do not need that. So.
Well, I need to take the book, and if I read it 2 times, that's okay. But then I need to practice it at 1 time.
Yes, that is true. Yes, exactly. Whatever you need to do, but let's just make sure we're calm. And I mean, when we can, working on ways to de-stress and function in this wild, crazy world. So that's important. But I love how fired up you get. You get very fired up. It's very exciting. And that is why you're a world changer. You're
the sweetest. Yeah, I get fired up. I do get fired up.
You do, but I think we need people like that. We can't all be like dance on the table like me, like we need people that are going to be fired up and like, they change the world. So,
but I can dance on a table too. So
you absolutely can. I believe that. We've never met in person, but I truly believe that we could dance on a table in real life.
We will.
Yeah, we will. I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. It was excellent.
All right, my friend.
Thank you for thinking through that dinner question so thoroughly. That is beautiful.
It is my pleasure.
I would like to come to your dinner party.
Oh, yeah. You're totally there. Can you bring a pie?
Yes.
Okay.
I'll bring a pie, and I will do my best to not dance on the table.
No. We can end up dancing on the table.
The Dalai Lama. Yes. Okay.
Maybe he'll go to bed. He'll go to bed early.
Maybe he likes to dance on tables. We don't know. Everybody's got, to de-stress in some way. So.
Yeah. All right, friend.
All right.
Until next time.
Until next time. All right. Bye.